Last but not least, Monterey Bay. Will the Division Three guys that this team has brought in make that step up? And I'm going to try to find the question in chat. It happened really early on,
I took
but
a screenshot of it. Oh, you got
yes,
it. Good, good.
it was taking the question of what's the gap between League One and the championship. And the Sacramento Monterey play full teams when they play us. That's a secondary question from the Boise fan. But how big is the gap between League One and the championship? Well, we always say it on the show. It's not that big. The gap is not that big, but Monterey Bay, I think, might be putting it to the test this year.
And I focus on that as the question because Monterey pretty clearly is built around the idea that Facunda Canete can come in from Carolina Core, Eduardo Blancas can come in from AV Alta, and Stuart Ritchie will move from the champs in Knoxville. And all three of those guys will just be starters from day one and impact players. That's a lot to be betting on guys who just haven't done it at the championship level. And you look at them individually, all the talent in the world, they feel like guys who are ready for the jump. But are they ready in the context of you put them in a winning team and then they contribute? That makes more sense than saying they are the talisman for Monterey Bay in 2026. That's where the doubt starts to seep in. And that's why it is a litmus test for what is the gap between divisions really.
And this was a Monterey Bay team who did lose to a USL 1 team in AV Ulta, albeit on a final day of that group stage for the Jägermeister Cup last season when neither team had really much to play for or beyond that. But yeah, like if you're looking at Monterey Bay just kind of historically, you have to kind of wonder like where a lot of the project has been going. This is a team who still is yet to make the playoffs, who had their lowest points per game in a season in club history last year, that you really want to have this team be successful. Like it's good for California. It's good for the league to have so many competitive teams nearby one another. But there's just been so many question marks surrounding Monterey Bay recently and just as a club that you just have to wonder like when and where will it kind of just click together.
And just real quick on the roster build philosophy, I am totally open to clubs going outside the usual sources of talent. Like you think about Tulsa with Weber and Colley and Serrato and Ian, what Phoenix always does getting internationals. That feels so strategic and intentional with the guys they're scouting. Monterey did this last season. Like they got a bunch of guys from Northern Europe, a bunch of guys from the lower leagues, and it didn't work for them at all. To me, they need to prove that there is that level of vision. And that's why getting Oliver Wiss in the front office is so important. He knows what he's doing in the USL. It feels like what they have tried to make their team become for 26 hopefully has that little bit of extra sauce behind it.
I'm looking at Nico Gordon, who last year coming into the season was my early on, like he could be young player of the year, and he was that guy. I love what you get out of Nico Gordon. I think he's a young player. He's so much younger than you think he would be, coming from England and then going through the MLS system. He's just younger than you think. But he is someone you can really rely on. You look at Richie, who is, I mean, he's a dude. Same thing with Blancas, and you're like, okay, these are known commodities. And then you see Delgado back there, where you know the vision. He's a young goalkeeper who can grow into being a great goalkeeper, but the film does not match what you want to see. You want to see your goalkeeper being, well, frankly, a Nico Campuzano, who this team lost to Pittsburgh, where he's going to stand on his head. He's going to make saves and make saves and make saves. It's not really Delgado's thing. Delgado can make saves when needed, but you want him to be building up possession, holding onto the ball, maybe making one of those line splitting passes. And that's what you might want from this team. And going forward, but defensively, do they have enough about them to keep them into matches? I'm not fully convinced of it.
Farnsworth feels like a big get. There were a lot of questions when you were just kind of penciling in Kelsey Egwu, who is gigantic and athletic and toolsy, but maybe not that effective yet at this stage in his career. Whereas Farnsworth has done the job for years in the RSL system, can play left back, can play center back, gives you a little bit of comfort next to Gordon, who I really do trust. Joel Garcia was fine last season. That's all right. But yeah, it's going to be a lot contingent on Delgado proving he can be a number one in this league.
And this was a team who only put 3 clean sheets on the board last season and were shut out 14 times in the league.
Monterey Bay also has this thing where the last 2 years they've just done something insane. Like last year, they were kind of beating everybody because Nico Campuzano just refused to let in goals and was just standing on his head. The year before that, was it Traeger and who else did they have out there? Was formerly at Pittsburgh, and I'm blanking on his name. Basically, they just could not stop scoring. If the ball was on target, it was just going in.
Was it Valesky?
Maybe. I know Valesky was there, but it was a winger from Pittsburgh.
Oh, Chase Boone.
Yes, thank you. No. That's not it. Oh my gosh, anyway.
He did score bucket loads at one point in any event.
Yes.
But yes.
But basically, they just could not stop scoring the entire time. And they were like, if the ball was on target, we just scored. And then halfway through the season, that they were like, we are who they thought they were. And they just stopped scoring altogether. Same thing with Nico Campuzano. He proved that he was indeed human. So if Monterey Bay could just be consistent, that would be great for an entire year. Alex Dixon. Thank you, Ryan.
Boone went to Pittsburgh. That's my...
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's if I could just ask Monterey Bay just to be consistent throughout the year and not do these like insane starts where they're just doing the most outlier thing of all time, that'd be awesome.
If anything, I want sorry, go ahead, John. No, mine was more of a joke.
Well, I was just gonna say, Jordan Stewart is weird for me because this team has been bad the entire time he's managed there, and yet I genuinely think he's done a very good coaching job, and a lot of this has just been out of his control.
If anything, even though they are currently last in the Western Conference rankings, they are first in my heart with Kelpie as the best mascot in possibly the league, and I just want Kelpie to be happy.
Kelpie scares me.
I feel
just straight up.
Dead eyes.
That's why we should put him in a good mood.